We're on
Good.
air. Okay, so I guess this is the very first show of the Woodworkers Weekend Shop Talk, a place just to hang out and talk shop and discuss what we've learned through the week or seen through the week, and give the average Joe um, their voice, I guess, a way to get in there. So anyway,
Specifically, we actually have the average Joe with us.
yeah, that's what kind of threw me off on that.
Thanks for the plug.
The puns come out everywhere with me. So I guess we'll start off with the roll call. Each show we're just gonna have like the same kind of structure, same idea, but always different each time. For the starting, it'd be roll call, and we'll just go through each person, and they can introduce themselves and just give a blurb of what you do and what your focus is, or and also plug your Facebook or other social media that you have. And yeah, does anybody want to start? Not all at
I'll go
once.
with
Okay.
it.
Sure,
Right.
I'll start.
You guys got to arm wrestle now.
Go ahead, Matt.
All right, yeah. Okay, guys, my name is Matthew Brander. I'm also known as the Bearded Woodworker. You can find me on Facebook at Brander's Woodshop with the Bearded Woodworker. Also on YouTube. I'm not sure if it's Matt Brander or Brander's Woodshop on there. And as well, I'm with Jason as part of the Maritime Woodworkers. So you can find us on Facebook and as well on maritimewoodworkers.com. And I do just hobby shop woodworking out of my backyard, my shop back there, and of course, say we're all here just to have fun, hang out, and make the best of it, enjoy ourselves.
Awesome. Nick?
My name is Nick Ferry, and I started a YouTube channel with my woodworking whatever on it. YouTube.com/Ferry Nick. Or you can check me out on my website, nickferry.com. That's Ferry, nickferry.com. And from there you can check out all my social media, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff.
Wicked. Let's go with Average Joe.
Alright, my name's Joe Whitaker. My YouTube channel is Average Joe's Joinery, and I've also got a Facebook page of the same name, Average Joe's Joinery. I'm just a basic home woodworker, just a small shop, literally just my shed, making little projects. I try and get up a project as soon as I can, but it's not guaranteed. But I do what I can.
I think we're all in that boat. We're all trying to fit in between our lives and get our projects and go. I wish I could quit everything and just do it full time, but I think I might find myself single if I do that. Cool. So I guess we'll start with tool. Oh, I guess I'll do my thing. My name's Jason McGinn. I'm McGinn's Woodshop, and you can find me on Facebook.com/McGinn's Woodshop. Also, YouTube channel McGinn's Woodshop. I just basically started, well, actually building a bar with a friend, and I did a dog dish bowl for my dog because he couldn't bend down and not have himself choke, so I had to build a custom bowl for him. And I don't know, I've just been building stuff since I got into it. That's it. So yeah, we can do tool talk, which also, like, while someone's talking, feel free to, if somebody else has questions or whatever, that's, kind of the point of this. We all want to learn from each other and figure out how they do things and how each other work. So for tool talk, just pick a tool that you enjoy using or that sticks out, and give a few tips and tricks on what you do with it.
Well, I've got a question to ask really, because as I mentioned earlier, I've recently brought that second-hand bandsaw. It's completely rusted to pieces, all the metal's shattered, there's hardly anything on it that's perfect. and there's no blade guard at all. And I was thinking of making a blade guard just out of simple hardwood. Do you think that that'd be adequate, or would would I have to buy a already made one?
I can't see a hardwood one being not being effective. Also, I don't know about you guys. I just started learning about having to fix my car. I got some rust holes and learning about fiberglass and stuff, and it's pretty versatile on how you can bend and shape it, and it hardens and then sand and smooth it down. So I don't know in particular, but I can't see a hardwood guard not working.
I was literally just thinking like making a two-prong fork that could then hold the, I think they're called cool blocks, either side of the blade. So the blade wouldn't actually touch the hardwood, it's just a way of holding the blocks either side.
Okay, just to get around the blade itself.
Yeah, kind of.
Huh.
Either that, or if you wanted to use some sort of ball bearings or anything like that, you could probably get some either cheap replacement like rollerblade or ball bearings, because that my benchtop bandsaw has ball bearings built right into the blade guard, and those seem to work a lot better than those cooling blocks.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that.
Okay, you meant the guides. I thought you meant the metal bar that comes down around the blade.
Oh no, it's got that one on. Just
Okay.
literally like the fork type piece.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, definitely go with those, like rollerblade bearings or something like that. They were pretty good on mine.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find them online pretty cheap, brand new. Either that, or if you have like a thrift store, and you could just pull them out of some old roller skates or rollerblades.
Mm.
I think I might have some old casters actually that have got bearings in.
Yeah, that would work.
Mateus Wandel pull a set of a pair of roller blades before, and they work just fine for him.
Yeah, actually, his video, he went through and figured out how to lower the sound and lower the vibration and everything in his bandsaw. If that's the same video I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched his videos, but they're too complicated for me.
Yeah, some of his stuff he's way
At
over my
one point,
head.
he actually tries to melt down the wheel by hand while the machine's running, like a metal milling. It was quite amusing.
Yeah.
Forced a little tool flew out of his hand. The fucking thing almost blew up in front of him. But yeah.
He's made a couple his own bandsaws and stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do that because with the bandsaw that he makes, you can turn it over on its side, and he has another set of planes you can buy,
Yeah.
and it's a mill, and so you
Mill
can
with
put the bandsaw up, and now you have a friggin' mill.
I gotta say though, it looked like one of the most awkward mills I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd rather do it with a chainsaw any day.
Yeah.
However, your kerf that you're cutting out was a heck of a lot smaller.
Yeah. You get a lot more wood out of it.
Yeah. Much cleaner cut, much less work to do afterwards too.
Yeah. Hey, how do I'm just trying to figure out how to so that it I find if I click on someone to put the camera on them, then it doesn't switch afterwards.
You got to click on them again, and then it'll go to whoever's audio is the loudest.
Thank you.
I was about to say
No
it's been
problem.
on Jay for a while.
Oh, was it on me?
No, it was. It's not anymore. Now it's flickering.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry.
All good.
You don't want to be looking at this too much.
So what type of bandsaw are you working on, Average Joe? What is it?
You won't have heard of it. It's Woodwise. I think it's an English company that's made it, but it looks a lot like the Jet bandsaws. Very similar, but it's literally their own branding on it and everything.
Cast iron body.
Yeah, cast iron top. The bottom is what do you call it? Like extruded, just bent.
Okay. Steel.
Form steel.
Yeah, bent steel. That's it.
Now, it's funny. Actually, I was watching. I think it was Mark Christopher's video, his shop tour video the other day, and I believe Mark, you actually have a general bandsaw, and I believe it's almost identical to the one that Jason's got.
Yeah, I
I've
was
been,
talking to Mark about that. It is. It's the same model and everything.
yeah, that's a
Mark,
sweet bandsaw. We've done a bit of resawing fresh from the logs and stuff like that. That's a really nice bandsaw.
yeah, she runs good. I'm not sure if Mark can hear us or if he's even
I think
there.
he's froze up.
Yeah. Well, I think he's at a convention, isn't he? So.
Yeah.
So I haven't
Yeah.
heard anything. He must be muted. Was he before?
I put him on mute for a second because when he came in, you could hear all the background music going, and it was pretty loud. So
Doesn't look like he's moving.
no. He's hopefully his screen's frozen. uh, yeah, no, actually, as Matt was talking about, I didn't know if Matt, are you gonna go into to the bandsaw that I'm fixing up, or I didn't want to.
You go ahead. You have far more information on it. We picked that up from a friend of it's a friend of yours' father had it at a shop, but left it outside for a while, and Jay picked the thing up as it was beginning to collect, I guess, mouse nests inside the fucking thing.
Huh. Yeah, it was covered, and it was covered in like a construction glue that that same glue that Dave I build stuff or I build it.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
uses that construction glue all the time.
Yeah.
It was covered in that. I just had to grind it right down to the metal and repaint it. And then actually the Wood Whisperer gave me, I couldn't get the actual blade to stay on the two wheels, no matter how I adjusted them. And Wood Whisperer suggesting that I put a washer behind it, behind the bottom wheel, and that'll pull it out just enough, then align the wheels and should work.
That's what I've had to do with mine.
Oh, okay. And that worked for you?
Yeah, the top wheel was set too far back, so with a washer, and at the minute I've got a piece of sandpaper in there as well, but it's working okay.
That's my general. The screw in the back broke for the tilt, so I use a piece of wood. I have
Yeah,
thicknesses of wood to put in there depending on the blade.
mine's just snapped off.
I wish that was my problem. I gotta figure out how to get it out without wrecking it. So how are you, Nick?
I'm good. As far as tools goes, I've been trying to save up for a saw stop because I currently don't own a table saw, so I kind of wanted to see if I could save up enough coinage to get the saw stop.
You don't own a table saw?
No, I haven't owned one for probably about 2 or 3 years now. It's kind of a long story, but I ordered one online. It had trunnion issues when it arrived. It was pinching and burning all the burning all the wood, and causing kickback. And then they sent me a new one, and that one had fork truck holes in the side of the cabinet. So I just sent it back and haven't dealt with it since.
Huh. So what do you do your main cutting that a normal table saw work instead? Just a circular saw or?
I think I go to my compound miter saw a lot. I got the larger Makita, so it's the sliding compound miter saw.
Okay.
So I've been doing a lot on that, and if I have to break down sheet goods and the home store won't do it for me or anything like that, I got a circular saw with a straight edge.
Okay. What about ripping though? Like if you got to rip a board into a 2-inch width?
Well, I do a lot of work for different theater groups, and once in a while, if I have to rip something, I can rip something over at their table saw. Either that or even my organizer cabinet I did a couple videos back. It was just a straight edge and a circular saw.
Oh, okay. Huh. Whatever works, right?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely not as efficient as having a table saw, but I kind of wanted to get the saw stop not only for the safety feature, but they're built really nice too, and I kind of wanted that to be my last saw that I ever own. So I figured I might as well try and save up and get something I'll be happy with for many years.
Yeah, that's April Wilkinson has one, and Stumpy Nubs. He's got
Yeah.
one, and they look beautiful. Like they're aligned perfectly. Everything looks clean on them. Like a joy to use. Sorry.
David Kudo, the Drunken Woodworker's got one too, I believe.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. Well, he's got the fence at least.
And I know Steve Johnson has one. He's got YouTube videos out. He just got his a few months ago, and he did a really in-depth comparison over at Highland Woodworking's blog. He's a regular writer over there, and it compares in quality. If you don't even take into account the safety feature, it compares in quality to your Delta Unisaw or your Powermatic, and they're equally, quality built, but then with the saw stop, you get the flesh, sensing technology. So
Yeah, which is a good thing. Actually, the
Awesome.
inventor of it, I saw a video. The inventor of it got on a slow motion video and blindfolded himself and stuck his finger into the blade with it running. He trusts it that much. I'm like, you know what? You make something like that, and you trust your product that much. Hey, Greg.
yeah, and I know there's a lot of different debate and politics to come to the saw stop and the saw stop brand, but I mean hands down it's a quality product.
Yeah.
I mean they don't sponsor me. I've never been affiliated with them, but I figured, hey, if I'm gonna try and get a table saw to have for the next 30 years, I might as well go for the one I really truly want. So.
And
What
that
do they
one
retail?
time, that
Basic
one
model.
time. Sorry, go ahead.
I say, what do they retail for just a basic model saw stop?
Well, I'm not quite sure because they have a less expensive contractor version, but I'm going for the 3-horse cabinet version, and I think with the dado brake and all the features I wanted, I think it was right around $2,800 US.
Ooh.
Sorry?
Still half the price of a Fez tool.
One of their drills.
I mean, I'm aware that that's a lot of money, and that's a lot of money to me, but
Yeah.
that a table saw is kind of the backbone of any woodworking shop. So I got sick of kind of going from different saw to different saw, and I wanted something that was going to last. So
Yeah, and hey, that one time that you're not paying attention or you get a weird kick and your finger jams in and your finger doesn't come off, money's worth it right there.
yeah, and I mean I got 2 young kids that are showing more and more interest. I mean they're not old enough yet to be using a table saw, but I mean in 5 short years I'd be a lot more comfortable showing them how to use the table saw, knowing that technology is in place.
Yeah.
Me too. The
'Cause
reason that I'd truly feel more comfortable with it, because I'd be showing my son how to use it, and I'd be the one who puts my own fucking hand into it.
Yeah. And the thing of it is some people say that it teaches people to be more careless.
No
Well,
way.
I mean that's up to the individual. You still have to have a respect for a 3-horsepower, 10-inch
Oh yeah.
spinning blade. You still have to. I'm not going to go throw my finger in it to test out the technology.
It's not going to stop kickback.
No.
Yeah, it's not going to stop kickback, and you still have to be wise with your tools. Because I kind of figured there'd be a day where SawStop might have band saws. They might have circular saws. You never know.
I'm
And
surprised they
I'm still going to have a healthy respect for the damage they can do. And I'm not even going to rely on it,
Well, the other
working.
thing, every time you set it off, it's like $300 to $400 to replace the bit that actually the sensor in it, isn't it?
I think they're about $80.
Oh, that's not
And
too
then
bad.
depending on whatever blade, if you're dealing with a Freud blade for $100 or like a Forest Woodworker 2 for $130, $140. So
Oh, it kills the blade too, does it?
well, normally, yeah, I'm pretty sure that
Yeah,
the
yeah.
blade is junk afterwards.
Knocks a big chunk of metal up into the blade.
Yeah, I think it
Oh.
catches it down in a piece of metal.
Yeah. But trust me, it's better to blade than your hand.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I mean, even just having a healthy respect for table saws. I mean, I bought a brand new $100 blade. I'm not going to say it's a name brand, but I'm not going to say the brand. But the first time I popped it in, I turned it on. All of a sudden, I heard a metal on metal noise, and I looked up, and there were a couple carbide teeth in my ceiling.
Whoa.
So that's just another You know,
Oh,
I never get within the plane of the blade. You know, if the blade is spinning in this direction,
yeah.
I'm off to one side or the other. There's no way, you know, because those are just essentially glued or industrial epoxy on. You know, so
Oh yeah.
Hmm. I never thought of the blade tips coming off.
yeah, that was the only time that's ever happened, and obviously it was a defect in manufacturing because I hadn't even cut anything. The blade wasn't even on for 2 seconds. But
Look,
and maybe that's a little careless on my part too, because maybe I should have brand new blade. Maybe I should have just kind of double checked to make sure every tooth was, solidly attached. But
How much do you check that though, really?
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's something I check now with a new blade, but
yeah, really. I never even thought to check that. Like I never would have thought to check that if we didn't have this conversation.
yeah. And I mean, unless it happens to you firsthand, chances are you still probably won't check it. I mean, it's one of those things to where I almost cut myself with a chisel one time, and now I never hold a chisel in that particular direction ever again.
I completely my finger, this finger here. When I was first learning the chisel, I was holding the wood in front, and I chiseled right into my finger. The chisel went right under the muscle. I felt it grind against the bone, and took a while to heal. So I don't hold the wood like that with a chisel anymore.
Yeah.
I learned to sharpen before I learned how to handle a chisel. But that's the thing. I took less care in a chisel because I didn't think it as dangerous as say a table saw. The table saw I was overcautious about, and I was really careful around and everything. But my chisel, I was just playing around and chiseling the wood and learning how it worked and learned the
You
hard way
also
that
need you also need to know what tools to be aware of. I mean, I've accidentally touched my fingers to a belt sander a bunch of times, and at the most you're going to get a little minor abrasion. But a table saw or even like a band saw, you don't want to be sticking your fingers anywhere near where it can pop through.
No.
I was cleaning my table saw off. I had the blade up though, which is a lesson I learned. And I was cleaning it off, and I struck my hand against the blade and cut my hand open. Like not bad, but I cut it open with, and that's not even on.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I did the same. I was changing the blade, and I forgot to put a towel over the top of it. My hand slipped off the wrench, and it tore
oh,
open three of my fingers.
I hate when that happens.
Same thing, not even turned on, just my own
I've done that
tumble.
with the router.
Oh, with the router, eh?
Yeah, mine's awkward. I've got a Perspex plate on it, and it's all just sharp edges, and you've got to get two spanners in to do it, and it tightens that much, and then it just goes loose, and your hand just goes flying right into it
Ugh.
every time. It only takes the skin off your knuckles, but I dread doing it.
I've done that a couple times in the car with the sockets coming off and jam my finger against my knuckles against the motor. Mm.
I tell you the router. That's one of the tools that I'm the most scared of is the router. To me, if you're holding that by hand, doing handwork with it, if it gets away from you, oh man, you can do damage to yourself in a hurry.
Oh yeah. Actually, those little routers are a little more scary than the bigger routers.
Those little flush drum routers. That's what I mean.
Yeah, 'cause they got a little kick to them and they're small in your hand,
They
right?
seem tiny. You don't think they can do too much, man. But I'm telling you, if that gets out the wrong way, if it hits you in the gut and then the leg on the way down, oh man, that'll do some damage.
Yeah.
The noise of them as well, the whining noise, it doesn't seem like you think someone's just going to blow.
Yeah. Well, they just sound like a little mosquito.
But like, I think there's like the way I listen to tools, it's like a tune, and if it doesn't sound right, I just stop it, and I think there's something wrong here. But with them
Yeah.
small routers, it's like constant, it just don't sound right.
Yeah, that is a good way to pay attention to your tools when you're making cuts. The sound that it's making. Get used to the sound, and all of a sudden something's different. You know something's up.
That's really true. As somebody said earlier, it's one thing to have the best tool in the world. If you don't know how to use it, if you don't know your tool,
Yeah.
then it can turn out to be a disastrous job just because you're not paying attention to the way your tool's reacting. Or like even down to my little Dremel tool, if you don't install the bit into it almost exactly perfectly, it'll start to spin off center, and the tool will make a certain noise. Now, if you don't realize what that noise is, you could go to use it, and if you go to actually put pressure against something, you're in for a hurt because the thing will just take off on you.
Yeah, and your first reaction is to try and catch it.
Yeah.
with your face.
If it's running at
With your
10, 20,
face.
30,000 RPMs,
Yeah.
you're not catching that.
Hey, we should probably move to the next segment there, because I don't. Do we want to end this at 9, or do we want to?
Well, I'd like to watch the other show. I'd like to see how it goes, you know.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, we might move along. What do we?
Well, we got in the shop.
Yeah.
So just basically any shop upgrades you're looking at doing, changes or solutions to those, to something that you've done in the wood shop. Yeah, in your own wood shop. So just basically some insight into your wood shop of something that you've changed or done lately.
Well, the next, mine is the next thing. I'd like to put a, well, I guess it's an 8-foot bench, a workbench across the back of it, so I have a big assembly bench that I can work on. It'll be permanent mounted into the wall, and I need a lot of storage underneath, and as well, I'm going to put some cabinetry on top of it, so I've got more storage, but as well a big spot to work. Because right now, I just generally put stuff on top of my table saw, which sits in the middle of my shop, which acts as a workbench. I just put a layer, I put 2 layers of rubber down, and then just a big MDF board on top of that, just kind of use as an assembly bench for the time being. But I say I'd like to have a bigger one in the wall that I can use to store a lot of my shit, because it's starting to get all over the place now.
If you hold off long enough, I plan on doing. I want to make myself. I built it. Dave. I can't remember his last name. But he made like a wall. It's like little slots, and he can. Anyway, a special little build thing that he did, and I want to do that for my wall. And I'm going to take down my pegboard, and when I do that, you can have that pegboard.
Quick cleat system?
It's sort of like a French cleat system, but it's more like a. It's French cleat, but it leaves like an inch gap in between each, and then he has boards, like sticks that he slides in between to keep the dust out, and then when he wants to put a tool hanger there, he slides it out, puts the tool hanger in, and fits it all in, so it's like a whole wall cabinet, adjustable. Continue, like,
John Hoy's done that, didn't he?
Heinz. What's that?
John Hoy's.
Yeah, he's the guy.
That'd be cool. That'll look neat. Well, it'll be functional. That's a good thing.
Yeah, well, and I was just mentioning that because when I do that, I will give you my pegboard if you want it.
Oh, nice,
One,
definitely.
one that I have over my bench.
I got a plan for some pegboard already. I can't wait.
It's useful stuff. So what's going on with your shop?
Well, pretty boring really. I don't suppose you'd claim it to be woodworking related, but I've trying to upgrade my lighting in there, because at the moment it was just a small like contractor light. It's on a little like 2-leg thing, burns your hand if you get anywhere close to it. It just wasn't up to the job, so I've just got some basic 3 normal screw-in light adapters that I'm going to try and get some bright bulbs for, and then make my own kind of studio lights, so when I do any filming that it should look better on camera. So that's what I'm looking to do at the minute.
It's one of those
Muscle
things
stuff with
people
that,
don't realize when you're trying to do videos at the same time as this, that you have to look at your shop in a whole different way, of having a light set up, a spot to set up a camera, all this sort of stuff.
It takes a lot more time.
But it's worth it. I enjoy putting the videos out, and if I help one person or whatever, it's a good time.
I think it's half the fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I like getting the feedback as well.
Yeah.
And if you like any kind of feedback as well, because it all helps really.
Sorry, what was that, Edward?
I was just saying, like, when you get feedback on the videos, like whether it's good or bad feedback, it all helps really.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. The feedback is probably the best part. I mean, it makes all the time we put in worth it, because, give you a quick story, I had a guy sent me an email, and he made one of my picture frames in one of my videos, and his wife was, he didn't do it exactly how I did. He did it to the best of his ability, and he was just starting out. But then his wife, he put a picture of his wife, I think it was either an anniversary or a wedding picture, and she was like, hey, where did you have this mounted, or where'd you buy this? And he said, I made it. And she didn't believe him, and he told me he had to show her the video of me doing it, and said, "This is what I made," and she was just like happy as can be. It was probably one of the best gifts she got, you know.
Huh.
That's just really neat feedback to get that somebody else tried what you did, and you know, it was a really nice gift.
I especially love the specific feedback. You know, like I like how you did that specific thing, or I like how you where you mentioned this, how you did that. I do it this way, and stuff like that. It's definitely makes it worthwhile.
It's one of the things that I find hard about doing the YouTube videos is always trying to find something new to put out and not copying. And that's the thing, you know. How many times can you see somebody make a miter sled?
True, but
Yeah.
everybody makes it a little bit differently, and everybody gets different ideas from the different ones. Like I know when I'm looking up how to make a miter sled, I don't want to see just one version. I want to see multiple versions and get ideas from it.
I agree.
And really, what I was going to say, there's the people who mainly watch the videos and woodworkers anyway, and I'll just watch it. I've got no intention of perhaps making what I'm watching, but I just enjoy watching woodworking. I might see a technique that I haven't seen before, or something that I might pick up just from watching it.
Yeah, it becomes part of your toolbox.
Yeah, because I mean, back in the day before the internet, you had to either see your grandpa or your neighbor or your dad or some guy at a woodworking convention do something, and then you go, "Oh, I never thought about doing it that way." And then you take that knowledge, that idea, and you bring it back to your shop, and you might even adapt it. And next thing you know, you're a better woodworker for it.
Yeah.
I think about how much knowledge just got lost because, you know, 100 years ago they didn't have a YouTube to be able to put the knowledge out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had just passing it down over time.
Yep.
If you weren't part of that circle, you just didn't get it.
And even then, you had there was one comedian that said this that I thought was always funny. That he goes, "Well, you know, I'd like to help my dad out in the shop, but back in those days, he didn't teach you anything. The only thing he taught you was how to hold a flashlight wrong and get yelled at."
Actually, well, I don't know if you missed it, Nick. We're talking in the shop, and so we're just discussing upgrades, changes, and solutions to your wood shop, just so you know where we're at here.
Well, as I mentioned before, the biggest upgrade I want to do is get that saw stop. But as far as what we're working on or what we want to upgrade to the shop,
Like what you're currently upgrading or currently changed or solution to your wood shop, just something about within recently your wood shop that you've been working on a little
Yeah.
bit.
It's something you made like I don't know, an outfeed table on something, or like an upgrade that you did yourself on something.
Or just cleaned.
That's an upgrade.
With the whole woodworking YouTube videos, I mean, I've only been doing videos for probably maybe 3 months, and so I'm adapting to having to have different lighting in different spots and adapt to have a tripod and, you know, a camera, because I have a 2-stall garage, which is a fairly nice size, but typically every night my wife likes to park her car in there, so, you know, I have to allot for room for that. But I think the biggest thing that I'm going to be upgrading was I designed my cabinets, and the lower cabinets were all going to hold benchtop tools, and they're right now they're on French cleats. And I made those maybe 3 years ago, and I realized that, you know, to have a benchtop joiner on something that's affixed to the wall doesn't really work. So I'm gonna be putting all the lower cabinets on casters, so I can at least slide out whatever tool I want to use, put it in the middle of the shop, and have a decent in-feed and out-feed area. And then when I'm done with it, just push it up against the wall, and it's out of you know, out of the way.
Use the hood of your wife's car for the outfeed table.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it's funny because Joe was saying that that's what he's been struggling with and changing is his lighting, trying to get it right for the camera and things like that. And I was going to bring that up as well, as I've been adding lights and to my own shop, realizing as I'm taking videos, I'm like, I got no light in that corner. I'm missing whatever here. You can't see this. So, constant struggle.
Yeah, I do have a project, because right now I have fluorescent fixtures that are hung from the ceiling, and I have 9 4-foot fixtures.
Huh.
But about half the bulbs are burnt out because, you know, I, for whatever reason, don't want to change them until they're at least half burnt out. But one of my projects, hopefully in the near future, will be a way to add lighting without necessarily having to change up a whole lot, I guess. I don't know.
Do you know what gives a really nice light? Is LED lights.
Oh, yeah.
I happened they were on sale at Costco, and so I picked one up, and it's like comparing it to a incandescent or anything. It's white light. It's really bright, really good light. They
Yeah.
last forever.
One thing I learned really quickly was starting to do the YouTube videos is the color of the light. It's supposed to be daylight balanced to get the best, light and brightness too, but also that the color is real white, almost to a blue, rather than an incandescent is more of a orange or a yellow.
If you look up marijuana growing techniques,
yeah,
oddly enough, it's very similar. I mean, not that I would know. I heard some guy told me this.
But I mean, that's natural light they're trying to replicate to grow the plants, right?
You mean to film?
All right, so I guess let's. I don't want to go too much past 9 o'clock here because.
Yeah, I think we'll cut this off and we'll post up another link, or we'll see if we can rejoin this link after the other show. We can do an after show if you guys want to sit around and chill out. We'll just go off air and everyone can sit around and have a brew or two or whatever.
Well, I'll just stop the broadcast, but I'll leave this open.
Yeah.
And then we can just connect to the same link.
Cool. If it cuts into my bandwidth, I'm going to hang up out of it because I'm done with the other one cutting on me.
I'm sorry.
Thanks for showing up, guys.
Yeah, next week we're just getting a feeling for the timing and everything, so next week we'll have things laid out a little more clean, but I think it went pretty good.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Thank you very much, guys. So Trevor's Woodshop wanted to thank you guys for coming. He's part of Maritime Woodworkers. So he couldn't make it tonight, though. He's at a wedding. I gave him a pass on that.
So we'll talk to you later on.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Thanks again. Cheers.
Bye.